Welcome to Views from the Floor podcast. This is Nico.
Just cuz.
Yo, it's Taz.
And we here, man. Another week, another a virtual episode. We definitely was going to meet in person. But then it was like communication was crazy. So then we decided, screw it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it this way. You know what I mean? We got the setup. You know what I mean? We look a little better now. Taz don't look purple. You know what I mean?
I got my light on.
We got his light on. I'm in a different spot. Don't worry about the keys back there, but we good. You know what I mean? How was y'all week, fellas?
Been good.
It's been good. It just went by fast, but it been good.
Yes. The days have been going by really fast.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit faster. I don't know. It's weird too because I ain't really been doing nothing at work. This is the first full week I've been at work, and I can't tell you how long. And yeah, I ain't really been doing nothing, but it still seemed like it's been going by fast as hell. I don't know what's up. Yo, I realized something too earlier. I was just watching Vaya, like just interact with the two littles and everything, and just like sometimes I catch myself just watching it because, you know, as a father, that's just what you do. And I go, time really does go by quick as hell when you have kids.
It does.
Because I feel like before kids, it felt like eternity to get to 21. You know what I mean? And now, like now, it's way past that, and it's just, I guess, because you see it in real time. You know what I mean? Like you can see time grow as your kids grow.
Yeah. Because Cameron is he's pulling up on stuff, standing up.
COVID babies.
He's
for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. These COVID.
Yeah, because Emma out here selling whole bricks. Yeah. At this point.
Yo, fam, that's my most gangster kid. She the youngest. She about to be 2, and she just an asshole, man. But she's like our kind of asshole. She's not, you know what I mean? Like it's one of them assholes where you want to fight him, but you gonna need him at some point in time. So it's just like, all right, you might have got away with it now, little nigga, but you know what I mean? Later on. One day it ain't gonna keep being like this.
A couple weeks ago, I was playing with Kai, right? You know how it would be like, put the gun, like throw the gun away. And I was like, Kai, throw the gun away. She looked at me like, the gun? Said, this nigga, we might not need to show her this.
Nah, you can't show Emma. You can't show Emma nothing like that because she'll take it too far. You know what I mean? Like she'll take it to the place that we telling her to go, and we not really wanting her to go there. We
She
just
start throwing everything under the fucking couch.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like we just showing you some techniques to maneuver in life. You know what I mean? Couple scare tactics. You know what I mean? And just in case it gets that far, then you be better prepared. But nah, you can't show Emma that. She'll take it too far. You know what I mean? Like, take it too far. But speaking of taking it this too far, I know y'all seen the clip. Seen the clip.
We saw it.
I know y'all seen the clip of my man Joe Rogan. What's crazy is, right? What's nuts is, last week, we talked about Joe Rogan and not being censored, which I still agree with. He shouldn't be censored. Even after this, like, you shouldn't censor him. If you want to stop listening to him, fine.
That's your prerogative.
Stop listening to him. But I don't think his show should be taken off the air. But what I'm talking about is Joe Rogan was just out here, you know what I mean, just a minute and a half clip, and him just letting the N-word fly with the hard R.
And the funny thing about that clip, that is a very small portion of the niggas that was said. Because at first it was like 70-something episodes were taken down because of the nigga. Next thing you know, that shit said 102. I said, woo. You said, not that you said nigga 102 times. You said nigga in 102 different episodes.
Yeah,
that's different.
And it wound up jumping up to 111.
And let me tell you this. nigga, if that ain't privilege. Because privilege is the idea that motherfuckers be like, oh, if they can say it, I can say it too. Or it was just y'all just took it out of context. There is no context because you're a white ass. Should have never had it coming out of your mouth in the first place. That's not a word that you can say. You could have said the N-word. You sure as hell said the N-word in that apology video. So you could have said it in your damn thing. The thing is, he did not think he was going to get caught. He didn't think nobody was going to check him. That's why he continued to do it. This ain't got nothing to do with if I think he's racist or not. I think that he's a privileged white man, and he used his privilege until it was no longer to his benefit.
I mean, it feels that way for sure. Like, it's kind of one of them things where you go, yo, fam, this is nuts. And then the one clip where he's talking to the one guy, I don't know what his name is. I need to find out this motherfucker's name. But Joe Rogan was baiting him into saying the word. And he just got this snarky smile on his face. And the dude just said it. And Joe Rogan is giggling like a 9-year-old girl.
And then there was another instance that somebody brought up, right? It's 2 points I want to bring up. But one is like, they were saying, you see the sensitivity, right? They were like, you have to understand, where was the same energy when Dave Chappelle was saying all this to the trans community? What they were saying was like, not to say that this is the same thing, but they feel that same strongness about the things that he was said. The whole idea, and for me, I can't say I disagree, because my whole thing is, I'm not trans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm black. So this hit me. It would hit them too in that way, but we ain't gonna get too deep into that. I was just using that example. But it was another instance they brought up in the Joe Rogan, like one of his episodes. It was a mixed person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the mixed person, he was like, yo, you have the best of both worlds because you got the mind of a white man and the body of a black man. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? You're like,
that's
he's
nuts.
smart because he's a white, but he has the physicality of a black beast, like y'all think we are. Get the fuck out of here.
I guess. How you feel about this, Taz?
All right, so
Since you being quiet
One.
up there in the corner.
I'm just absorbing all the info. But nah, man. So like for me, yeah, I'm disappointed in hearing that. Number two, I don't listen to Joe Rogan. So like he has like no credibility in my sphere of like my universe.
There you go.
So like for me, I was like, I mean, this ain't surprising. I mean,
Yeah,
am I
and
supposed to be surprised?
You just
Like,
throw
no.
that shit to the side, you know?
It's like this when this type of stuff happens, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Am I supposed to be angry about that? I'm disappointed. I'm not angry because one, the nigga ain't said about me, but two, not that just sounds bad, but two, it's Joe Rogan. I mean, how many white guys do we know that look like Joe Rogan that probably use the N word with the hard ER at the end of it?
Oh yeah, we probably know a bunch. We probably went to school with a bunch of people that said it way more than we did.
And that's not making it right. But my point number three is like my thing is like it's funny that all this kind of come out. You know, you got this whole COVID thing going on. You know, all the information. He's got these doctors on the big pharma machine is not liking all the stuff that he's talking about because it's kind of taking money out their pockets in a sense. But it's like, dog, like somebody took the time.
They did this 2 years ago. They did this in 2018.
Right.
And they put it out in 2018. It just didn't get the traction.
There it is. So
You think this a ploy, Taz?
I think it is.
I know you a conspiracy theorist.
I know a good smear campaign when I see one.
This is why I don't
trying to
think
smear
it is.
Joe.
I don't think it is. And I'm going to tell you why. Do I think that motives probably play a factor in that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it does. But niggas been trying to get him the fuck up out of here for a minute. The
They
thing is,
have.
like, it's always like this. This is when opportunity makes an opportunity. Like, it's always like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, I mean, I'm kind of with you where he's not in my sphere at all. I don't listen to Joe Rogan, so he don't have no merit on me at all.
Mhm.
But also, I do understand like we're at a place where motherfuckers is too comfortable,
Yes, that is
and
true.
that needs to be
Very true.
checked. And my thing is, it's all hunky dory until you have an interview. Let's just say you make it to that point where you're on there, and he tries to
Mhm.
bait you. He tried to bait Justin Cole out as the first. He gonna get called all type of shit he ain't ready for. He gonna really get put in the spotlight. The
I
thing is, like,
I love how you put the first
yeah,
on your name.
I'm just saying, nigga, it's about to be a motherfucking problem. It's like everything is all cool until you meet the right one,
That's
and
true.
everybody want to always be like I don't disagree with you, Taz, as I think you might be hitting on the head where it's like there's a motive, but that doesn't escape the fact that niggas was trying
No,
to get him exposed 5 years. Well, damn, what year we in? 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Which I mean, I agree, and I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. So I mean, like, but one thing that I, I said this. I said a broken clock is right twice a day. I was like, just sometimes what happens is us as black folks, when something like this happens, we get up in arms. Sometimes we get overtly emotional. I'm like, hey, look. We know racism still exists in this country, in the world. Look, don't get overly emotional to where the point where we're like, all right, we're just gonna negate because he could say two times two equals four. That's a correct statement, correct?
Hmm.
Mhm.
But just because of what he's done, we don't listen to the message.
What's his
Now,
message, Taz?
no, I'm just saying. I'm just not. I'm not saying he has a message. I'm not saying he has a
Yeah.
message.
Good.
But I mean, his show is a critical think piece, especially when it comes to certain things. So I don't listen, but I've heard clips and I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. But I don't ever want to get to a place with people where a person might say something truthful, and just because of where they've been and who they were, I just totally just write it off
But
because
the
it's something
message,
that.
though,
So what now?
the message a lot of times can dilute the message.
It can. That's why we have to be very careful. We use the word taint your witness. Don't do that. It's like you don't want to do something to where you lose credibility now. You know what I'm saying? Because you could, like I said, you can give a correct, exact, factual statement, but because of what you've done and what you've said, I totally take a deaf ear to it now. So
So
I mean, it's just weird because it's not weird, but given the I don't know, I feel so mixed about it so
I
in
know.
so
I
many
feel
ways.
like I feel like as it pertains to COVID and all the things that have to do with him,
Mhm.
okay, you can have an objective. You can be objective, Joe Rogan. As it comes to race, shut the fuck up.
Facts.
Anything that has to do with us as a people, you don't need to speak on. Just leave
Yeah,
it that way.
because the Planet of the Apes line kind of threw me. I was like, yo,
It's
that's
way more. Like when you
ah,
like nigga, I don't listen to Joe Rogan. Nigga, I listen to like 6 episodes, and I've been like, first of all, that was 12 hours of my life I can't get back, and I'm
no,
just
you
not happy about it.
you're never gonna get that
And
back.
then on top of that, I'm like, what people don't realize is I don't necessarily think it's racism as much as it's pure privilege. And when you in such privilege, you don't understand that you have an advantage against other people. So therefore your mindset is going to be like pushed in a way that you might not see these as racist thoughts, but they are
Mhm.
racist thoughts.
See, my thing is also the echo chamber that people put themselves in. It's do we interact with people who don't look like us, who don't think like us, who don't have the same political views as us? You know what I'm saying? It's the thing that, and we're seeing that in the NFL too, where I think it's like I'm not gonna say it's not a racial thing because I think it is partially, but I think that also it's a lot more so of a comfortability thing. It's like I'll hire my best friend, like I'll hire Nick before I hire somebody off the street with anything because one, I know Nick. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I mean, I think it's twofold. with certain things, but the NFL piece,
Mhm.
which we're not going to get into that, we already talked about it. But as sometimes you gotta get out of the echo chamber. You gotta put yourself in places around people who don't look like you, who don't think like you, you know, believe differently than you, because one, you start to understand these people.
I agree to disagree.
Mm.
Because partially I do agree with what you're saying, but as somebody who has been like around people who don't look like me, interacting with them, I know everybody's different and that
Mhm.
everybody comes from a different place. But as it pertains to us as black people, they will not understand because they have not had the experience.
Yeah,
You can
they're never
talk
gonna
all
understand
you
that.
want to talk, just like I don't understand your experience, so I can't really speak on your experience. I think that everything else, as it comes to politics, things like that, you're absolutely right. But as it comes to my experience in this country, how I want to be treated, the things that
Mhm.
I want to be called, and how you can or can't address me and my people, that's something that's non-negotiable.
I agree with that. I agree.
I feel you on that. All in all,
Yeah,
though, I don't think the man is racist. I just think he said some wild ass shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's
Like,
like you said, it's a privilege thing.
yeah, like, yeah, it's exactly. It was a person trying to make a joke about something that he had no fucking clue what he was talking about. You know what I
And
mean?
also,
Like,
most people shock value, shock
yeah,
value.
you know what I
I
mean? Like,
mean, this.
it's that you was trying to be extra entertaining and said some racist ass shit. And now
Yeah,
you gotta deal with it, you know what I mean?
and
Regardless,
so
regardless if he got a black wife and a black stepkid. That don't
right,
fucking matter.
You got a
and,
white wife with a black son kid.
He got a black
and
wife.
Now, his wife is white.
Is she? You
Yes.
sure about that?
Yeah, but she got a baby by one of them H Town niggas. One
Yeah,
of them
yeah, there you
niggas.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. From yeah, 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 yeah.
but the thing is, like, he came out and apologized. Okay, I say we take that with a grain of salt. I said the best apology is change behavior. So now moving forward, it's going to dictate how I look at you. Because if you slip and you say this again, man, we might have a little more of a issue. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, knocking the boots. Them niggas that made knocking the boots. That was
Them,
about
yeah.
that was about Joe Rogan's wife getting knocked down. Getting knocked down by that black man.
Mm.
And he couldn't stand it. He had to go on the show and say the hard R. He couldn't take it no more.
I wonder what his stepdaughter feels like.
Yo, what the
Like
fuck?
you wilding the fuck out,
Word.
pops. You are wilding.
Yo, that's wild, son. Yeah, knocking the boots. That's crazy. I wish I had the song right now because I'd cue it up. Just being an asshole. But yeah, man, he gonna still have a show. He gonna still say crazy shit. He gonna have people on there that say crazy shit. And
It's a
just
part of it's a part
just
of the
don't
show.
listen to him. Like both of y'all said, I don't listen to him. People around me try to get me to listen to him all the time, but it's just like, nah, I'm cool.
To be honest, like I rarely listen to podcasts. Like I hardly listen to this us after I've done it.
it's kind of hard, right?
It's very
So like, I y'all know, I edit the pod. We do a video,
so you listen
so
to it constantly.
I've been a part of it. I listen to the audio, and then when I do the video, I listen to and watch everything again. So by the time this drop, it's kind of like it's kind of in a box, and then you know what I mean, put on the shelf of podcasts. You know what I mean that we have. So
Yeah.
it's like so me actually sitting down and listening to somebody else's podcast, it's kind of like when I was heavily active in music. So when I was heavily active in music, I didn't listen to other music because
Mhm.
I didn't want anything seeping into my brain like a bar, how somebody said something or whatever.
Mhm.
Then it won't be like, all right, well you sound like this person or you sound like that
Right.
person, and that was like a big fear of mine. And with
That was crazy because when you said that you said that me you said me and Maurice sound like Acho and Wiley.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, what? I went back and listened. I was like, Ah,
Yeah, for
I got
sure.
you.
It just it just feels that way.
It
You
does because I was like, I've seen them
yeah,
on TV, but I didn't know what it was called. And then when I went back and listened, I was like,
yeah, speak for
hmm,
yourself. Yeah,
yeah,
that show used to be
with
what's
what's
that
his name?
coon name? Jason Whitlock,
Jason
short and
Whitlock.
bread.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know what I mean? Fuck that guy. Anyway, uh uh yeah, it's just I don't wanna, and with the podcast that we do, it's different from how High Def does it, because High Def
hmm,
is like a very niche
yeah,
podcast. Y'all are religious based podcast, and that can go any type of way. There's never gonna be. They might be a time where you might hear another religious based podcast kind of talk about what y'all talk about,
hmm,
But it's not the same.
but it's never gonna be the
exactly.
same.
Never gonna be the same.
But how we do our pod, some of the things we talk about, like this Joe Rogan topic, I guarantee you 90% of the pods that are in our space are gonna talk about the Joe Rogan thing, just how we talked about it. You
I
know what I
don't
Definitely.
think
mean? So,
just how though. We came with a little different.
oh yeah, of course, how we do it is gonna be different. Just like everybody is gonna do it a little bit differently, but the topic is still gonna remain the same.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like how we do things. We look at it from a different perspective. So, speaking of like just different perspectives, just going, you know what I mean? Let's take it to, you know what I mean, a place that we don't really want to take it to. But
Yeah,
Amir Locke, man. I know y'all seen the situation.
I saw the body cam footage.
So for those out there that don't know what we talking about, just like Amir Locke was a young man sleeping over at a friend's house, and it was in Minnesota. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Minnesota, of course.
same St. Paul, I believe, or
Yeah,
around somewhere in that area.
you know what I mean? Of course. Um, which I would never thought Minnesota would be a hotbed for killing blacks, but you know what I mean.
They have the most dangerous police force.
So he was sleeping over at a friend's house. They came. Police showed up with a no knock warrant. Had a key. Opened up the door. Walked right in. Kicked the couch. Startled him. He gets up. Cop just blast him several times.
Shot him 3 times.
And you know, before the body cam footage came out, which I'm so glad they implemented that
Yeah, transparency.
nationwide.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
have
Like
to.
that's how it needs to be. I mean, we paid, you know what I mean? Like we the people pay their salaries. Like
That's fact.
it should be no hiding from us. You work for
Mm-mm.
us. And
Supposedly.
supposedly. They work for some people. But yeah, startled him, just shot him. Body cam footage showed what they tried to say was he had a gun.
He didn't.
He didn't have a gun.
They found the gun after the
They
fact.
found the gun after the fact. They found the gun who is he the gun is registered. The gun is registered. He is a member in our NRA.
Hmm.
But the the silence of the NRA and the Second Amendment, um, the Second Amendment faithful, I guess,
Hmm.
is deafening.
Hmm.
I need to hear something from y'all about this because I know how I feel. But
Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, please, because I want to hear Taz's point. So let me go.
No,
For me, I also watched the body cam footage, and then when you watch it, it's like they do yell when they come in, right? But he was
mhm.
still clearly asleep.
Sleep.
He
Exactly.
was asleep. Even when they walked in, he was still asleep. So they had to kick the couch to start to him. And then he was like getting up from being wrapped in the cover.
yep,
And they just started shooting.
just
And it was
blasting.
like, you see something black, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but I'm just gonna be perfectly honest. Who the fuck sleeps with a gun in their hand?
Nobody.
Right.
What most likely was, and it wasn't big. It was like this big. It was a
remote,
remote control,
remote
probably.
control, probably.
So it's like, first of all, the audacity for me was he had a gun. Why can't you be real and just say what really happened? Because y'all went looking for that gun. And the gun might have been, like I said, it might have been under the pillow, whatever. We don't know.
We
But
done.
they went looking for it and they found the gun. And I don't think they were ready for was the fact that the gun was registered or that he was a member of the NRA. Because that changes the whole narrative.
Never been
Mm-hmm.
arrested. Nothing. A good
Nothing.
dude.
Nothing. Never been in
Super
trouble.
good dude.
And they were looking for his cousin.
Who was already in jail? I do believe.
No, they found
He
him.
went in
They
jail.
found him after. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
But
already in jail.
imagine that, like, in his head, like, nigga, I got my cousin killed. Not that he did, because that wasn't his fault.
Mm-mm.
But at the end of the day, it's like these police need to be held accountable. But my thing is, in my opinion, do I think they will? I don't think they will in this case. Just how it's already set up with the he had a gun thing.
Yeah. So I completely agree with you on that. I sit back and I was like, all right, just trying to think about the whole no knock thing. I'm just like, I don't get down with it. Reason being, I understand. I listen to cops talk about it and why it's a necessary thing. But I'm talking about like if I'm talking about hardened criminals, like it would have to be something like where for a fact this dude is moving bricks like El Chapo. I mean, he out here dudes out here just murking people left and right. Like when I think of hardened criminal, I think of like Kingpin Underground.
Yeah.
I'm chopping niggas' hands off. They
Not no
messing
petty
up
crime
product.
stuff.
No petty crime. Like, like that. You know, so the simple fact that they did the no knock in this instance, I think it was completely unnecessary. Um, my thing is, I think you can, as you do the investigation, like you're looking for the cousin. Okay, I got you. Looking for his cousin. Watch the house. See when he gets it. Get him when he's coming home. You know what I'm saying? Like they have so many resources to be able to arrest people. Um, but the simple fact that they tried to go, oh, he had a gun. That what that does is it sways the narrative in the public eye. Oh, a black kid got a gun. If we don't know the context of everything, what's going through some people's mind right now?
He
Black kid
guilty.
with a gun. There you go. He's
It
guilty.
was
Like he brought this upon himself because he had a gun. But then you bring in the fact that he ain't never been in trouble, registered the gun, and he's a member of the NRA. Uh oh.
like I said, they weren't ready for that, man.
You weren't ready for that. So now it's causing you to rethink what you already believe based off of past experiences and past narratives. This young man, like from looking at the body cam, he was on the couch, he sleep. I mean, dude, like if someone comes busting in my house, and I am in the deepest part of sleep that you can get into,
Yeah.
if you're startled away, it's you might pop up, but you're so disoriented, you don't know what's going on around you.
Uh-uh.
You know what I'm saying? So to sit there and say that, because I know some people are like, well, they said they found a gun. Yeah, they found a gun. They did find a gun. Did he point it at him? I don't think
No.
so.
I
I
mean,
don't think so.
the body
My
cam
thing is,
He was
footage
getting
showed that.
up.
Yeah, he was getting the
exactly,
fuck up.
the kid, if anything, if it was, who says that he didn't have the right to defend himself? Because
Yeah.
you do not know who's busting in your house.
Right.
If somebody busts in my house right now and I'm sitting on my couch, sleep, and I got my Glock beside me, oh, chitty chitty bang bang, you just busted it in my house.
Yeah, you have every right.
Exactly. And
I have
then
every right to
he ain't,
defend that.
he ain't do nothing wrong. So in his head, you're like, what's going on?
Right. Yeah, that that was gonna be my point. It's like you startle them, and in a state of startleness, if you're not military and trained in that way, bro, he was just getting up. Like he was getting up. He was probably
It was
still
still
half
wrapped up in the
asleep.
blanket. He was still
E-
wrapped up in the blanket too. So
Exactly.
how do you know what you saw?
It's
You could
just
have saw his hand. You could have saw his hand trying to come
And,
out from under the blanket. Oh, gun, pow.
and the logic behind it, it's like, first of all, if you clearly, because it's a little grainy, but you can clearly
It is.
see he's still like eyes ain't even open all the way.
yeah, like
All he did was he was like trying to like get up
Hmm.
from the cover,
Yeah,
and they seen something black and shot. And
yeah.
the first thing you say is he got a gun. My thing is, if
yep.
that shit ever happened to Justin, first of all, I now after all this shit, I ain't gonna sleep with no goddamn remote control in my hand. Shit ain't happening.
Nope.
You can't.
We can't do shit.
Damn,
But keep your phone away.
you can't go to the store. You can't wear a hoodie at night. You can't sleep in your own house.
Mm-mm.
The fuck, bro? Like it's just insane at this point. It's just like it's it's like Jameis Winston inventing new ways to throw interception. It's like, yo, they just inventing new ways to just kill people. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's that simple.
And the thing is, do I think they came in there with the intentions to kill him? Absolutely not. I think it was a mistake. But it's a mistake that you need
You gotta
to
own.
be
You gotta
real
own
and
it.
Yeah.
own.
You gotta own the mistake. You know what I
Don't
mean?
do the same thing.
Like it's understandable. It can be understandable as to why what happened happened.
Yeah,
But owning the mistake is the thing. You gotta own this. You gotta hold this. This is your mistake to carry. Period. Like
yeah,
it's nobody else's mistake. Stop trying to put it on a dead man who shouldn't be dead. He should still be here living his life. But yet, of course, don't put no blame on the person who did it. Put the blame on somebody who's not here to defend himself and he can't defend himself. And it's just another fucked up situation, man. Another fucked
And,
up
yeah.
situation.
and then when they talk about defunding and reforming the police, yeah, everybody's hands is up. Like, no, you can't do that. But then, if you understand actually what defunding the police means, all that would do is make them way more accountable for shit like this. Not saying I believe it should happen or whether or not that's a different story for another day. But it's just like those narratives come into place because of things like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because the moment something happens and they make a mistake, as a black person, you are now the person who is held accountable. And your black ass ain't do nothing but be alive.
Yeah.
Just be there in that moment.
Yeah, man. It's just a terrible situation, man. But unfortunately, these things happen all the time.
And I
I
feel
had
for
a
his family.
I had a rant that I wanted to go on about it, and I said, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it."
Why not?
Um,
It's the perfect opportunity to do it.
well,
Hold
I
on.
mean,
Absolutely.
so I mean, if you want to get biblical with this,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
look at the
Mr. Taz.
look at the curse of Deuteronomy 28. All right, where it talks about, was it 28? Hang on, I'll make sure. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28, where it talks about a certain people will be scattered amongst the world, and you'll be taken to a land that you don't know of. And it also talks about that this nation will rise against you. I mean, we're talking about, if you want to be real here, the people, the true Israelite people were black folks. Let's be honest here. Um, this is something I've been on just researching and everything. Um, when I look in the text, and I see the curse of Deuteronomy, and I'm just like, dang, we're still seeing the effects of um, the curse today. And it talks about we'll rise up against each other, which we see that in our communities. Um, but it also talk about a nation rising up against the other nation. Um, and the thing, man, I follow my knees and just pray every day that that my wife is safe, my boys is safe, my family, friends, loved ones are all safe. And I pray that I never get a phone call where someone that I love is in a situation like this. Um, and I find myself not just like, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? You know, I don't have the answers right now, but I'm still seeking. But man, I pray that's for any black and brown person out there, man. One, know who you are. Know who you are. Know your there's a specific purpose uh that that the Most High has for us, and vengeance is coming. That's all I'm gonna say. Vengeance is coming. It ain't gonna be at our hands, but it's gonna be at the Most High's. And I'll say this: anybody who is taking part in against anything against His people, hellfire and brimstone, baby. That's all I'm gonna say.
You think so?
I believe so.
Hey man, we'll see when the day come. I guess.
I won't, because I ain't trying to be here. I'm trying to be in the heavens. I'm trying to be up out of here.
That's facts, man. It's just
Mm.
it makes too much sense. Like this, I'm just reading and then just reading back on that, and I'm like, there's only one group of people that really fit that bill of that slavery and being scattered. That's us. It's
Yep.
black folks. I mean, Puerto Ricans ain't nothing different for us than the Puerto Rican, but a boat stop.
Mm-hmm.
Caribbeans. I mean, think about
Hey
it.
brother, you said it. You hit that. You hit that out the park for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. J,
Mm-hmm.
you got one for us?
Oh, he got one.
You want to talk about the other thing first, right?
No, we could add
No,
that segue
no,
into
no,
that.
no. Yeah, nah. Nah,
All right.
we going with this right now. I'm putting you on the big screen, dog. The
All right, let me go
time is
find it.
now.
All right, so it's a little different this time. Instead of me just like throwing out a topic or whatever, I got something I wrote earlier that I just kind of want to read. So for this black as fuck, I about to say black and fuck. It is their freedom, my oppression.
Hmm.
So on this day in Black History Month, I want to discuss something I've been feeling a lot lately, and it's their freedom, my oppression. This was sparked from a tweet that was going around about someone overhearing a conversation in a dispensary. A dispensary worker asked a customer to put on a mask, and the customer said, "Oh, I forgot I'm from Texas, where we have freedom." And the dispensary worker was like, "Isn't weed a felony in Texas, bro? Like, what are you talking about?" And that made me think of a few things. And one is like that was a textbook explanation of when ignorance and privilege meets. And it also made me think, especially as it pertains to race in this country. So we have laws and practices that are based on a once racist school of thought with a purpose to keep us at a disadvantage. Even if the current majority isn't quote unquote racist, they still live in a system catered to their culture and way of thinking, which represents a certain freedom people of color don't have. Now, I know and agree that we have the ability to pull ourselves up from nothing and create something out of it. However, due to factors out of our control due to a lack of knowledge and a manipulative educational, cultural, and economical castration that we have suffered for centuries, we as a collective unit don't even know where to begin to make things right. We live in a day and age where textbooks are erasing the history of our people and rewriting it to exclude our pain, with fear will taint young minds, instead of giving them a true history of our past and a blueprint of what not to do. People aren't aware or forget that we as a people are embedded with a genius level ability to survive and thrive on sheer will. And when I say we as a people, I mean black people. Or as our ancestors used to say, turn shit into sugar. When they gave us our own institutions of higher learning to keep us out of their institutions of higher learning. We took barely funded institutions and made them pillars of our community and cultivated the minds that will lead generations and spark revolutionary change. These great minds were minds such as Langston Hughes and Thurgood Marshall of Lincoln University, Andrew Young and Toni Morrison of Howard University, and Martin Luther King and Julian Bond of Morehouse College, just to name a few. And of these past and present HBCUs, there are thousands of others whose life made it possible for us to live ours. They want us to forget the strength of our leaders and the movements they sparked. They teach you of Martin Luther King Jr. because he was nonviolent, but they fail to teach you of his unwavering resolve to help us as a people actually be seen as people. And the same goes for Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Medgar Evers, and countless others. No other group of people besides other people of color, who, as Tad said earlier, is just a boat stop. They understand how important it is to control our own narratives. We as Black people are not monoliths. For those who don't know, that means we aren't one size fit all. As Black people, we are straight, gay, trans, light, caramel, dark, tall, short, big, small, good, bad, and in between. All of it has a right to be respected and our rightful voices to be heard. If not, they'll continue to put on the TV and play the music of violence and mistreatment of ourselves and tell the rest of the world this here is just the niggas, not the proud Black people we are. And we won't have any way to oppose it if we don't fight enough to preserve our past, correct and cultivate our present, and guide our future. So before I leave, I kind of like leave a challenge for us. Take the baton and be the change you want. Learn tolerance, love, respect, and as we say in Alpha Land, because y'all know I'm Alpha, learn how to fight on ice. Fighting on ice is the ability to thrive even in times of immense struggle, even when there are hurdles that are there to slip you up. We have to say we are tired of being oppressed. It's now our time to feel some of that freedom.
I tell you what, man. I always enjoy these segments because it's always thought provoking on what you say, and I don't really like to elaborate because I want people who watch the show and listen to the show actually take in what you say and you know what I mean, elaborate it with people that you around. You hear it just like you seen the tweet and you came on the platform and then you shared your thoughts about it. I want people out there to share their thoughts with their circles, and that's how change happens. You know, I appreciate you, Mr. Justin, for sure. So, I'm gonna let you. You know what? Matter of fact, since you on a roll, I'll let you, keep on going. You can go with this, Mister. So what's funny about this next little topic of what we're gonna talk about or whatever it is? It's just funny how you know Taz online saying one thing, and then Justin come on. Justin come on and go, "Hey yo, fam, you gotta relax. It's not really
So
that."
I know that. I already researched it. I was just making fun of it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Because I'm telling you, because you're the most niggerish out of us all.
I saw that and I was like, Tyrone Biggums. I gotta put that up there.
Oh, absolutely. But go ahead, Mr. J.
So what they talking about is there was a post from the shade room, coon asses, and it said the Biden administration reportedly finalizing $30 million program to give out crack pipes to drug addicts. All right, so that's not really what it is.
No.
So in order to like explain it for what it really is, I'm going to use this post by Dr. Wes Bellamy, who is a alum of South Carolina State University. He's now the poli sci chair at Virginia State University, and he's the former vice mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia. And these are his words. So it says, at the Shade Room, should be ashamed of themselves. I'm not a huge fan of this administration and have been very critical. But saying that they've given out $30 million for crack pipes is absolutely flagrant. The Shade Room literally took an extremist right-wing media outlet article headline and ran with it. The truth is, the Biden administration is working with the Department of Health and Human Services to provide $30 million for harm reduction programs, drug prevention programs, rehabilitation centers, and providing money to entities on the ground doing the work with this population. So I don't I don't know if everybody else's experience with these programs, but if you've grown up in the inner city neighborhood, you've seen workers going around and giving out clean needles and pipes.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things about that is those type of programs are not just about just giving it out. They have outwork whatever the hell outreach workers who come and talk to them or whatever, like mental health professionals. And a lot of times, some of those people are taken off of the street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's easy, especially in this day and age, to see something and run with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have to do your own research.
Nobody
Like,
care
and
about doing their own research.
they
You know
don't.
that.
And as the post stated, I'm not a fan of everything this administration has done. Just like I was not a fan of almost anything the last one did. But when certain things are done and they're not of harm but of help, you can't allow your previous notions of how you feel about certain situations to try to change what actually is. And yeah, that's all I got for it.
Yeah, man. It's like you said, in all these outreach programs, they've been giving out clean needles to people since the beginning. And a lot of people see it as enabling, but if you have a chance, to help save somebody's life by doing something as simple as that, you do it. With the chance of maybe they'll stop doing this.
It's
Like
giving them a chance to.
yeah, it's like my thing with all of this is addiction is a true sickness. It might be a self-inflicted sickness, but it's still a sickness in itself. And to just throw somebody away because they're an addict, it's fucked up. And you know what I mean? And it's wrong. Granted, it takes a lot of work and it takes a certain kind of person
Yeah.
to stick with it because it's hard. I've seen people turn from just a normal person to a full-fledged addict and what it does to family members and kids and just just the mental of people. And it's like the love of that person don't go nowhere. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. You might write them off and be like, you know what, I can't do this. Like I gotta protect myself and I gotta protect my family from this type of person. But at the same time, deep down inside, you still care about this person. You still want this person to live, even though they doing everything they can not to. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird double-edged sword. But to the bigger point of it all, that's the very human side of it. Is that human emotion that I'm talking about is just like you still care about people and people should care about people. So do what you can to help. But on the other side of it, it's like, now, of course they're gonna take just a little piece and make it the whole thing, and then give it out to people because that's anything that goes out on any big ass platform. That's what they want. They want the clicks instead of the truth, and it's
And
messed up.
before we go any further, I'm going to read the original headline that came out on December 8th, 2021. It's SAMHSA announces unprecedented $30 million harm reduction grant
Mm-hmm.
funding opportunity to help address the nation's substance use and overdose epidemic. That's
Mm-hmm.
two totally different headlines.
Two
Yeah,
different
but
headlines.
you know how it is, bro. You know how it
And it,
is. You know,
and then the thing that bothers me is, do you not realize who that demographic that headline was going towards?
White
This
folks.
opioid, no, the one that they were sending on Shade Room, it was to black people because it said
That was the
crack.
black people. But the original one,
Yeah,
the original headline, because the biggest thing right now, the biggest drug
opioids.
of choice is opioids.
Yes,
But
they ain't talking about crack.
but who does that mostly affect though?
Yeah, the
There
white
you
folks.
go.
But
So
this program isn't just for white people.
no, it's for everybody that's an addict.
Everybody. But
Everyone
the,
that's that.
I agree with you saying because it's two sides to the coin. However, what it is even if it was just addressed to us or anybody, right?
Mhm.
That was a respectful post. It was one that just stated the information and kept it moving.
yep.
The other one was prejudice in its meaning because once you think crack,
You
you
think
don't think
black folk?
white, you think black.
Ooh, yeah. If you said cocaine, that'd have been a different story.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
everybody. We all in there,
You,
baby.
you know, you, you know how it is, man. You know, every
Yeah.
drug comes with a certain person. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's a face to it. If it was in a dictionary, it'd be a face to every drug. And you know,
Mhm.
crack,
The crack Whitney Houston's picture on the side.
Tyrone Biggums.
yeah,
Him
somebody,
too. Him
yeah,
too.
somebody. Anyway, Mr. Taz, you got words of
Yeah.
wisdom for us?
Well, I was gonna elaborate.
Okay, go ahead. Oh,
I
my
was
bad,
gonna
my
go
bad.
ahead.
I
But
was.
no,
Hold
so
on, let me get you in the
one
spotlight real quick.
one of the biggest things about it is, I completely agree with it because of the benefit. It does help people live longer to hopefully get off of the drug of their choice. But there's something that kind of bothered me about it though. So
Uh oh.
it's almost like put hear me out here. It's like putting a band-aid over a gunshot wound. So here's my thing. We'll do everything to alleviate the symptom. We don't try to find the root cause that where's people get on the drug for,
Oh man,
right?
They do
I can
though.
go on the rant. I can go on the
Yeah,
rant
but
about
I'm
this.
saying is this program does that.
Okay, so if we think of we the headline crack, you think black folks, right? So we know that our area, our most of our neighborhoods are disproportionately disenfranchised. Um, so why do people turn to drugs in the first place? I mean,
To
if
try
I
to cope
can't
with
find
something.
work, there you go. You're trying to cope with something. So here's my thing. Let's try to get some money back into the neighborhoods and build these neighborhoods up to empower the people so that the next generation won't have to turn to drugs to cope with the social ills of the previous generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So my thing is like it's I'm all for the program, but let's backtrack here. Let's why are you on this? A lot of it's there's 10 reasons. There's 10 causes of drug addictions. So the first one's loneliness, second one's family history, third one's peer pressure, the fourth one's escape from emotional pain, fifth one is rebellion, six is prescription, seven is recreational, eight is stress, nine is trauma, and 10 is pain from injury. So the person has a prescription drug. Um, so it's looking at the root cause. Let's try to alleviate those root causes. Um, I mean, of course, a couple of those it's just personal choice, but like if you look at if I'm always around people who are drug addicts or with anything at that, I'm more likely going to pick that habit up because you can become a product of your environment.
Right.
So it's let's change the environment. Let's try to put some money back into the environments that most of these drug addicts are coming from to empower them. And these programs, help empower people because one, you have um what was it at? Is was in the UK, I believe. Yeah, Britain, no, it was in British Columbia. So they have a harm reduction. Like they've seen a 76% drop in harm reduction, through a program. They provide needles, access to clean crack pipes, uh, but it goes past not just drugs. We're talking about contraceptives, access to drugs to counteract overdoses, and they've seen. I mean, they've seen a vast number. They've seen 78% decrease uh, reported. Let's see, 78% in a decrease, 78% in decrease in the new reports of cases of HIV with drug users.
Okay.
So you have they said they've seen 95 overdoses reduced since 2012, 400 plus admissions into on-site detox facilities, 55% decrease in reported cases of hepatitis C, um, and they have had zero overdoses um, at insight places. So this is a very big benefit to this program. A lot of people are, like I said, headlines are going to mislead. That's why when a bill is put forth, we should one go to the government website, read the bill. All right, we a lot of times we don't read. Right, we don't read the thing. We see the headline, we run with it, we make jokes about it. I was one of those, but I did read. I did read before I made that joke. Um, but it was just, it just popped in my head.
Yeah, hey man,
Um,
sometimes you gotta let
yeah,
jokes fly.
And
you
also,
got that.
the thing is too, we gotta be careful of thinking it's just the environment
Yeah,
of like
that's true. I mean,
inner
yeah,
city
that's true.
neighborhoods because one thing that people don't realize is motherfuckers in Wall Street, everybody on them land cocaine.
So here's another thing. Here's another thing too. So let's think about Vietnam, right? Shortly after Nam was what happened
The heroin.
in our
Yeah.
so could the government be in bed with drug trade?
Bro, you know
If they,
they've been they
yes,
You see
they've
what I'm
yeah,
always
saying?
been. But
yeah, hell
You see
also,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
this is what we're also forgetting. There's one very major part that we forget. There was already a heroin boom in the 1920s, the 1930s, and the 1950s. And niggas was already using heroin.
Who was using it though?
Us. Yes, we were in our neighborhoods. A lot of our, like when you look at a lot of the jazz artists and things like that, Charlie Parker, all of them, that was their drug of choice.
Very much so.
That was heroin. It was the thing in their neighborhoods. That was a neighborhood thing to do to deal with whatever they had going on. But a lot of it was, as you stated earlier, it was like, oh, this is the cool. This is gonna take you to another level. You know what I'm saying? A misguiding principle. Like we have to be careful of like not putting everything into a box.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not saying that the government ain't got their hands, and they absolutely do. But when people want to get something, they're going to get it.
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
And the
absolutely.
thing is, not all drugs are bad. I'm not gonna sit here and like we ain't gonna bullshit. Okay, and people don't always do drugs just to you like. Some people just want to get high.
That's one of
That's
the
true.
that's one of the things I stated. One of the 10
Smoke
is
you some
recreational,
weed and
man.
chill out.
Hey, that's it.
Word. So Mr. Taz,
Yo.
you got a words of wisdom for us?
Oh man, hang on,
Or
hang
you know what I
on,
mean?
hang on.
Is it one of those on the fly, or is you know what I mean? It ain't gonna happen.
Hang on. I got it. I got it. I making sure. So
Hold on. I'm gonna give you the spotlight.
the spotlight. I bet. What's up? What's up?
Boom.
So,
There you go.
all right. So, gaining knowledge is gaining wisdom. Knowledge is everlasting. Keep growing in your mind daily. Read, read and learn as much as you can. Study to show yourself approved. Never let go of studying whatever God has put inside of you because you will use it again and again at some point in your lifetime. You will never stop growing. So don't be afraid of the knowledge and watering the knowledge that God has placed inside of you.
My man, I can always expect a word from Mr. Taz. But
Sound
check
like
this
I'm in
out though.
church.
I was thinking about that.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about something while you were saying that. I wonder if anybody from like your church circles watch this version of you podcasting.
I feel a couple of them do.
Um, I I need to know, like I need to know, and then I want to know who they are as a person to understand you fully on this pod, and I know they watch you on the other one.
They know it. It tells me they know me. They know me. There ain't
Okay,
no surprises. Ain't
cause
no
like
surprises.
how you talk with us,
It's different.
how you talk with us is way different, but it's the same
Yeah.
too, cause
It's a
it's like you sprinkle in you are 100% you all the time. So a God reference is gonna come in here through here. But you gonna drop some, you know what I mean?
cusses.
you gonna drop some cuss words in here at the same time. I love it. I love it
And we are
wholeheartedly.
not the bad influences. He's just who he
He
is
just
as a person.
hey, Taz been like this since the day I met him. And I don't think it ain't never gonna change. Never gonna change. I just think it's just awesome. But y'all got any final thoughts about anything?
Love
Um,
yours.
Love yours.
God damn it, Taz. You been
That's
up
what
here?
I'm saying. He gave us another word.
Ever said I was just about to say something along those lines. God damn it,
Hey
Taz,
man,
you been in my head.
you gotta watch Taz. Taz take your whole shit. You know what I mean? I do want to say before we get out of here, for everybody that watch us, we appreciate you out
We
in
do.
YouTube land or wherever you watch us at and listen to us on the pod. Also, I don't know if y'all like this format versus uh, in-person format. Y'all let us know. Y'all make sure you like, subscribe, all that share, all that stuff. See, I'm doing the whole YouTuber thing. You- and also, if you
Just write down
listening,
below.
yeah, if you yeah, comment down below. If you listening, you know what I mean, share, you know what I mean. We put the links out for everything. But yeah, man, good pod again, guys.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, we've been doing this for so long. It's just natural at
Right.
this point.
Natural.
And on that note, always remember, no matter the view, it's always with respect. And that's another episode of Views from the Floor podcast.